Good evening, students. I hope my voice is audible. Welcome to Sankalp learning classes. So, this is the first session of biology KCET classes. So, today we are going to start the first chapter, that is the living world. ಈ ಲಿವಿಂಗ್ ವರ್ಲ್ಡ್ ಫಸ್ಟ್ ಇಯರ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಬರುವಂತ ಫಸ್ಟ್ ಚಾಪ್ಟರ್ನ ಒಂದು ಸಿನಾಪ್ಸಿಸ್ ಮತ್ತೆ ಕೆಲವೊಂದು ಇಂಪಾರ್ಟೆಂಟ್ KCET ರಿಲೇಟೆಡ್ ಕ್ವಶನ್ಸ್ ಅನ್ನ ನಾವು ಸಾಲ್ವ್ ಮಾಡ್ತಾ ಹೋಗೋಣ. ಐ ಹೋಪ್ ಎಲ್ಲರೂ ರೆಡಿ ಇದ್ದೀರಾ ಅಂತ ಅನ್ಕೊಳ್ತೇನೆ. ಕ್ಲಾಸಸ್ ಅನ್ನ ಶುರು ಮಾಡಬಹುದು ಅಂತ ಅನ್ಕೊಳ್ತೇನೆ. ನೀವು ಕ್ವಶನ್ಸ್ ಅನ್ನ ನೋಟ್ ಮಾಡ್ಕೊಳ್ಳಿಕ್ಕೆ ಒಂದು ಸೆಪ್ರೇಟ್ ನೋಟ್ ಬುಕ್ ಅನ್ನ ಇಟ್ಕೊಳ್ಳಿ. ಸೊ ಇಂಪಾರ್ಟೆಂಟ್ ಸಿನಾಪ್ಸಿಸ್ ಅನ್ನ ಇಂಪಾರ್ಟೆಂಟ್ ಕ್ವಶನ್ಸ್ ಅನ್ನ ನೋಟ್ ಮಾಡ್ಕೊಳ್ತಾ ಹೋಗಿ. ಹಾಗಾದ್ರೆ ನಾವು ಮೊದಲನೇದಾಗಿ ಈ ಒಂದು ಚಾಪ್ಟರ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಇರುವಂತ ಕೆಲವೊಂದು ಸಿನಾಪ್ಸಿಸ್ ಅನ್ನ ಸ್ಟಡಿ ಮಾಡೋಣ. ಅದಾದ್ಮೇಲೆ ಸೊ ವಿ ಆರ್ ಗೋಯಿಂಗ್ ಟು ಸಾಲ್ವ್ ದ ಇಂಪಾರ್ಟೆಂಟ್ ಕ್ವಶನ್ಸ್ ಫ್ರಮ್ ದಿಸ್ ಚಾಪ್ಟರ್. ಓಕೆ, ಎಸ್. So biodiversity. So what is the meaning of the biodiversity? So biodiversity is the occurrence of the variety of the living organisms, life forms on earth. So here currently there are 1.7 to 1.8 million living organisms are known to science. So here this number is very important. Currently how many million living organisms known to science? That is 1.7 to 1.8 million organisms, and out of which 1.25 are animals and about 0.5 millions are plants. So in this 1.7 to 1.8 million living organisms are there. So in that 1.25 millions are animals and 0.5 millions are the plants. Then systematics is a branch of biology that deals with cataloging plants, animals, and other organisms into categories that can be named, compared, and studied. So, what is the main function of this systematics? What is systematics? It is the branch of biology, so which deals with the cataloging plants, animals, and other organisms into categories and can be named and compared and studied. So here identification is the finding of correct name and place of an organism. So ಈ naming process ಅಲ್ಲಿ first step, that is the identification. A system of classification, it is done with help of keys. This is carried out by determining the similarity with already known organism. So this is the systematics, how it works, and the identification, that is the first step in the naming of the organisms. Then nomenclature. So nomenclature is nothing but it is the process of naming the organism. So nomenclature is the process of standardized naming of the living organism. So that is the providing the standardized naming to the living organisms. Here for plants, scientific names are based on the International Code for Botanical Nomenclature, and animals names on the International Code for the Zoological Nomenclature. This expansion is very important. ICBN, what is the full form of ICBN? That is International Code for Botanical Nomenclature. Botanical, botany, so that is related to the plants, naming of the plants. And ICZN, International Code for Zoological Nomenclature. Zoological, that is related to the naming of the animals. Okay, please remember this ICBN and ICZN. Okay. Then biological nomenclature. So what is this biological nomenclature? It is the universally accepted principles to provide the scientific name to the organisms. So providing the scientific name to the organisms to avoid the confusion related to the names. Here it contains the two components, so it is called as the binomial nomenclature. Okay, so it is called as binomial nomenclature. It is well accepted naming system of organisms, binomial nomenclature. What is the meaning of binomial nomenclature? The naming that contain the two components. Okay, so it is the scientific method of the providing the name to the organism, so which contain the two components. So what are these two components? The first word that represents the first name that represents the genus name, and the second name that represents the specific epithet, means that represents the species name. For example, mango, so that is the common name. So scientific name of the mango, that is Mangifera indica. So this Mangifera that represents the genus name, and indica that is the species name. Okay, human beings, what is the scientific name of the human beings? Homo sapiens. So Homo sapiens ಅಲ್ಲಿ homo that is genus name, and sapiens that is the species name. So this system of nomenclature, binomial nomenclature, that is proposed by the scientist Carolus Linnaeus. Remember the scientist name who proposed the binomial nomenclature, and what is binomial nomenclature, and the first name represents what, and the second name represents the species name. So which is given by the scientist Carolus Linnaeus. So these all points are important. You have to remember. Then the rules of the binomial nomenclature. Okay, what are all the rules of the binomial nomenclature? So biological names are generally in Latin and written in italics. So you have to, while writing, it should be underlined, and it is when it is in a typed form, then it should be in italics. Okay, so ನೀವು ಬರಿಬೇಕಾದ್ರೆ ಏನು ಮಾಡಬೇಕು, ಅದನ್ನು ಸೈಂಟಿಫಿಕ್ ನೇಮನ್ನು ಅಂಡರ್ಲೈನ್ ಮಾಡಬೇಕು, and the first word in a biological name represents the genus, while the second represents the species name, and the genus name that starts with the capital letter. For example, Mangifera. Mangifera andre M capital ಇರಬೇಕು. Mangifera indica, species name starts with the small letter. Okay, both the words in biological name when handwritten are separately underlined or printed in italics. So ನಾನು ಮೊದಲೇ ಹೇಳಿರೋ ಹಾಗೆ, if it is in a handwritten form, it should be ಅಂಡರ್ಲೈನ್ ಮಾಡಬೇಕು. ಮ್ಯಾಂಜಿಫೆರಾ ಇಂಡಿಕಾ ನೀವು ಹ್ಯಾಂಡ್ ರಿಟನ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿದ್ರೆ ಅಂಡರ್ಲೈನ್ ಮಾಡಬೇಕು. ಇಫ್ ಇಟ್ ಈಸ್ ಇನ್ ಅ printed form, it should be in italics. Okay, the word denoting the genus start with the capital letter, while the specific epithet start with the small letter. So that is the one of the important rule. Then, so these are the some important rules of the binomial nomenclature. So next ಇರುವಂತದ್ದು classification. What is classification? It is the process by which anything is grouped into convenient categories based on easily observable characteristics. So easily observable characteristics ಮೇಲೆ ಏನು ಮಾಡಬಹುದು? So we have to group the organisms for the study purpose. Okay, so it makes the study of organisms convenient. So what is the importance of the classification? It makes the study of organisms convenient. So we are not able to study each and every organism separately, right? So it take more time. So if the organisms are grouped based on the similar character. So we can study all the organisms based on that groups. Okay, so it makes the uh, classification make the study of organisms convenient. And very important terminology, that is the taxonomy. So what is taxonomy? The process of classification on the basis of external and internal structure along with the cell development process and ecological information is known as the taxonomy. So this word is very important. So what is taxonomy? So taxonomy, um, ನಿಮಗೆ ಬೇರೆ ಬೇರೆ ಡೆಫಿನೇಷನ್ ಅನ್ನ ಕೊಡ್ತಾರೆ, ವಾಟ್ ಇಸ್ ಟ್ಯಾಕ್ಸಾನಮಿ ಅಂತ ಡಿಫೈನ್ ಮಾಡಿ ಅಂತ. ಸೊ ಹಿಯರ್ ದ ಪ್ರೊಸೆಸ್ ಆಫ್ ಕ್ಲಾಸಿಫಿಕೇಶನ್ ಆನ್ ದಿ ಬೇಸಿಸ್ ಆಫ್ ಎಕ್ಸ್ಟರ್ನಲ್ ಆಸ್ ವೆಲ್ ಆಸ್ ದ ಇಂಟರ್ನಲ್ ಕ್ಯಾರೆಕ್ಟರ್ಸ್. ಸೊ ನಾಟ್ ಓನ್ಲಿ ಎಕ್ಸ್ಟರ್ನಲ್ ಕ್ಯಾರೆಕ್ಟರ್ಸ್, ಇಂಟರ್ನಲ್ ಕ್ಯಾರೆಕ್ಟರ್ಸ್, ಸೆಲ್ ಸ್ಟ್ರಕ್ಚರ್, ಡೆವಲಪ್ಮೆಂಟ್ process, ecological information, based on that the classification process. Okay, so the taxonomic categories. So taxonomic category is a rank or level in the hierarchical classification of organism. There are 7 obligate categories. So in taxonomic categories there are 7 categories and some intermediate categories. So category is a part of overall taxonomic arrangement, and all the categories together constitute the taxonomic hierarchy. So taxonomic categories, so it is the process of classification based on the category or the rank or level. So ಬೇರೆ ಬೇರೆ ಲೆವೆಲ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಆರ್ಗಾನಿಸಮ್ ಅನ್ನ ಕ್ಲಾಸಿಫಿಕೇಶನ್ ಮಾಡೋದಾಗಿದೆ. ಸೊ ಇಟ್ ಕಂಟೈನ್ಸ್ 7 different categories. So this taxonomic category that includes the 7 different categories, and all 7 categories together constitute the taxonomic hierarchy. Okay, so what are these 7 taxonomic hierarchy? So here, kingdom, division or phylum, class, order, family, genus, and the species. Okay, so these are the 7 taxonomic categories. Here, species, that is the basic unit of the classification, and kingdom, that is the higher unit of the classification. Very important. Species, that is the basic unit of the classification. So let us study what is species, genus, family, order, and class, division, and the kingdom. So in case of plants we use the division, in case of animals we use the phylum. Okay, so what is species? Species are the natural population of individuals or group of population which resemble one another in all essential morphological and reproductive characters, so they are able to interbreed. So ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಈಸಿಯಾಗಿ ನೆನ್ಪಿಟ್ಕೊಳ್ಬೇಕು ಅಂದ್ರೆ species, the first point, species, they share maximum number of similar character. Maximum number of similar characters that is present in the species, and they are able to interbreed. So here the organism belongs to the same species, they are able to interbreed. For example, mango species indica of the genus mangifera. So mangifera indica, illi species yaudu indica. So when mangifera indica crossed with Mangifera indica, so they are able to interbreed. For example, Felis or Panthera tigris. Okay, just imagine Panthera tigris. This is the scientific name of the tiger, Panthera tigris. Just a minute. Panthera tigris. Okay, this is the scientific name of the tiger. So here this tigress represents the species. So this tigress species tigers are able to interbreed. Just imagine this is Panthera leo This is the scientific name of the lion. This Leo that represents the species and Tigris this represents the species. But these both are belong to the different species. So these lion and tiger that is not able to interbreed. Okay. But the species they are able to interbreed and which share the maximum number of characters. Okay. Similar characters. So that is about the species. And what is genus? It is a group of related species which resemble one another in a certain correlated characters. So the same species, the similar character species, they group together and form the genus. For example, lion, tiger, and leopard are closely related species and placed in the same genus Panther. Nodi, Panthera, Panthera leo, Panthera tigris, and Panthera pardus. Panthera pardus. Okay. So here Leo, Tigris, so these all represents the species. So these organisms, just when you see the lion, tiger and leopard, so they share some similar characters ಅಲ್ವಾ ನೀವು ಲಯನ್ ಲೆಪರ್ಡ್ ಮತ್ತೆ ಟೈಗರ್ ಅನ್ನ ನೋಡಿದಾಗ ಸೊ ಅದು ಕೆಲವೊಂದು ಸಿಮಿಲರ್ ಕ್ಯಾರೆಕ್ಟರ್ಸ್ ಅನ್ನ ಶೇರ್ ಮಾಡುತ್ತೆ ಅಲ್ವಾ ಸೊ ಜೀನಸ್ ದಟ್ ಈಸ್ ನಥಿಂಗ್ ಬಟ್ ದ ಕ್ಲೋಸ್ಲಿ ಗ್ರೂಪ್ ಆಫ್ closely related species. So here Leo, Tigris and Pardus that belongs to the same genus that is called as the Panthera. Okay. So which share the less similar characters compared to the species. Then family. So what is family? So it is a taxonomic category which contains one or more related genera. So related genera. For example, family Solanaceae contains number of genera like Solanum, Withenia and Datura. So family Solanaceae family. Okay. Solanaceae family, that is the potato family. So it contains some genus. For example, Solanum genus and Withenia genus and the Datura genus. Closely related genus that constitute the family. Okay. So then order. Order that is closely related families that constitute the order. For example, families Felidae and Canidae are included under the same order carnivore. So, illi Felidae that is the cat family. Okay. And Canidae that is the dog family. Okay, so these both are belongs to the different family, but they share some similar character. So they belong to the same class that is the same order that is called as the carnivore. Carnivore family ಗೆ belong ಆಗುತ್ತೆ, order ಗೆ belong ಆಗುತ್ತೆ. Okay, then class. So how do you define the class? So class that is group of closely related orders. Group of closely related order ಗೆ ಏನಂತ ಕರಿತೇವೆ ಕ್ಲಾಸ್ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳ್ತೇವೆ. Okay. For example, dicotyledone and flowering dicotyledone of flowering plants contains all the dicots which are grouped in several orders like royals and polymoniales and renales. So ಈ ಎಲ್ಲ order, so these are the different orders but they belong to the same class that is called as the dicotyledone class. Okay, then division or the phylum. So we use the division word in case of the plants and the phylum word in case of the animals. So what is phylum or division? That is group of closely related class which share the some similar characters. Okay. So illi the phylum chordate of animals contains mammals but also waves, reptiles and the amphibians. So ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಫೈಲಮ್ ಕಾರ್ಡೇಟ್ ಅಂತ ಬರುತ್ತೆ. Phylum chordate, that is in case of the animals. It contains some classes like mammals, aves and reptiles, amphibians ಎಲ್ಲ ಏನಾಗುತ್ತೆ. So these are the different classes. So group of similar classes, they comes under the same phylum, that is called as the chordate phylum. Okay, then the last one, it's not a division, last one, kingdom. Kingdom, that is the highest taxonomic category. Remember, which one of the following is the highest taxonomic category ಅಂತ ನಿಮಗೆ MCQ ದಲ್ಲಿ ಕೇಳ್ತಾರೆ. Here, all the plants included under the kingdom Plantae and animals, that is included in the Animalia. Okay, so this is about the taxonomic categories. So ಇದರ ನೆಕ್ಸ್ಟ್ ನಿಮ್ಗೆ ಕೆಲವೊಂದು ಟಾಪಿಕ್ಸ್ ಇತ್ತು, ಬಟ್ ಅದೇನಾಗಿದೆ, ಡಿಲೀಟ್ ಆಗಿದೆ. ಸೊ ಓನ್ಲಿ ಇಷ್ಟನ್ನು ನೀವು ಸ್ಟಡಿ ಮಾಡಬೇಕು. ಐ ಹೋಪ್ ಈ ಒಂದು ಸಿನಾಪ್ಸಿಸ್ ಅನ್ನು ಯೂಸ್ ಮಾಡಿಕೊಂಡು ನಾವು ಕೆಲವೊಂದು MCQವನ್ನು ಸಾಲ್ವ್ ಮಾಡಬೇಕು. ಓಕೆ, ಎಸ್, ಎಲ್ಲರೂ ರೆಡಿ ಆಗಿದ್ದೀರಾ ಅಂತ ಅಂದ್ಕೊಳ್ತೇನೆ. ಈ ಒಂದು ಚಾಪ್ಟರಿಗೆ ರಿಲೇಟೆಡ್ ಆಗಿರುವಂಥ ಕೆಲವೊಂದು ಕ್ವಶನ್ಸ್ ಅನ್ನ ಸಾಲ್ವ್ ಮಾಡ್ತಾ ಹೋಗೋಣ. ಎಸ್, ಸೊ ದಿಸ್ ಇಸ್ ದ ಫಸ್ಟ್ ಕ್ವಶನ್. ವಾಟ್ ಈಸ್ ದ ಎಕ್ಸ್ಪಾನ್ಷನ್ ಆಫ್ ICBN? ಆಪ್ಷನ್ ಎ, International Code for Botanical Nomenclature. Option B, International Code for Biological Naming. Indian Code for Biological Naming, International Council for Biodiversity and Nature. ಸೊ ಯಾವುದು ಕರೆಕ್ಟ್ ಆಗಿರುವಂತ ಆನ್ಸರ್ ಅಂತ ನೀವು ಟಿಕ್ ಮಾಡ್ಬೋದಾ? ಎಸ್, ವೆರಿ ಗುಡ್. ದ ಕರೆಕ್ಟ್ ಆನ್ಸರ್ ಈಸ್ ಇಂಟರ್ನ್ಯಾಷನಲ್ ಕೋಡ್ ಫಾರ್ ಬೊಟಾನಿಕಲ್ ನೊಮೆನ್ಕ್ಲೇಚರ್. ಆಪ್ಷನ್ ಎ ಕರೆಕ್ಟ್ ಆಗಿರುವಂಥ ಒಂದು ಆನ್ಸರ್. ನೀವು ಕ್ವಶನ್ ಅನ್ನು ನೋಟ್ ಮಾಡ್ಕೊಳ್ಳಿ. ನಾನು ಒನ್ ಮಿನಿಟ್ ಟೈಮ್ ಕೊಡ್ತೇನೆ ನಿಮಗೆ. ಪ್ಲೀಸ್ ನೋಟ್ ಡೌನ್ ದ ಕ್ವಶನ್. ವಾಟ್ ಈಸ್ ದ ಎಕ್ಸ್ಪಾನ್ಷನ್ ಆಫ್ ICBN? International Code for Botanical Nomenclature. Yes, that is the correct answer. Yes, many are commenting the correct answer. Yes, you are right. Option A is the correct answer. Yes. We'll go to the second question now. Which among the following is involved in the naming of the animals scientifically? Which one of the following that involved in the naming of the animals? ICBN, ICAN, ICPN and ICZN. ಸೊ ಎಲ್ಲರೂ ಕರೆಕ್ಟ್ ಆನ್ಸರ್ ಅನ್ನ ಕಮೆಂಟ್ ಮಾಡ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದೀರಾ? ಎಸ್, ವೆರಿ ಗುಡ್. ICBN, that is International Code for Botanical Nomenclature. Botanical means botanical ಅಂದ್ರೆ so that is related to the plants ಅಲ್ವಾ? So this is not a correct answer. ICAN is not there. ICPN is also not there. So ICZN, International Code for Zoological. Zoo means animals, right? So zoo andre animals baratte. So which is related to the naming of the animals scientifically. So the correct answer is ICZN. Yes. ಕರೆಕ್ಟ್ ಆಗಿರುವಂತ ಆನ್ಸರ್ ಅನ್ನ ಕಮೆಂಟ್ ಮಾಡಿದ್ದೀರಾ. ಎಸ್, ವೆರಿ ಗುಡ್. ಪ್ಲೀಸ್ ನೋಟ್ ಡೌನ್ ದ ಕ್ವಶನ್. ಸೊ ನೀವು ಕ್ವಶನ್ ಅನ್ನ ನೋಟ್ ಮಾಡ್ಕೊಳ್ಳಿ. ಆನ್ಸರ್ ಮಾಡೋದ್ರ ಜೊತೆಗೆ 2 ಮಿನಿಟ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಶಾರ್ಟ್ ಆಗಿ ಕ್ವಶನ್ ಅನ್ನ ನೋಟ್ ಮಾಡ್ಕೊಳ್ಳಿ. ನೀವು ಆಪ್ಷನ್ ನೋಟ್ ಮಾಡ್ಕೊಳ್ಳದೆ ಇದ್ರು ಓಕೆ, ಜಸ್ಟ್ ಆನ್ಸರ್ ಅನ್ನ ನೋಟ್ ಮಾಡ್ಕೊಳ್ಳಿ. ಕ್ವಶನ್ ಅಂಡ್ ಆನ್ಸರ್ ಅನ್ನ ನೋಟ್ ಮಾಡ್ಕೊಳ್ಳಿ. ಎಸ್, ನೆಕ್ಸ್ಟ್ ಕ್ವಶನ್. What do you think is the need of nomenclature? Option A, scientists can use this term in their seminars to have a standard name for an organism instead of having many names in a different languages. Nomenclature is something which is same for all organisms and people need not mention each organism with different names. Then nomenclature looks fancier and more technical than regional names. Yes, what is the correct answer? What is the need of the nomenclature? Why do we need the nomenclature? Yes, what is the correct answer? Option B. Okay. So, option B ಅಂತ ಕಮೆಂಟ್ ಮಾಡ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದೀರಾ. We'll see the correct answer. Scientists can use this term in their seminars, so that is not a correct one. So that is not the need of the nomenclature. Nomenclature looks fancier and more technical than the regional names, so that is also not a correct answer. That is not looks like a correct answer. Nomenclature is something which is same for all the organisms and people need not mention each organism with different names. So option B or C, ಯಾವುದು ಕರೆಕ್ಟ್ ಆನ್ಸರ್ ಕಮೆಂಟ್ ಮಾಡಿ. ಸೊ ಆಪ್ಷನ್ B is the correct answer. So here to have standard name. So ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಒಂದು ಲೈನ್ ಬಂದಿದೆ ಅಲ್ವಾ, to have a standard name for an organism instead of having many names in different languages. So this sentence is given in your NCERT. So this is the correct sentence. But nomenclature is something which is same for all organisms and people. So this sentence is not related to the answer. So we can eliminate option C also. Option A and D already we have eliminated and option C also eliminated. So the correct answer is option B. To have standard name for an organism instead of having many names in different languages. Option B is the correct answer. Next question. A binomial nomenclature consists of dash and dash. Option A, generic name and phyla. Option B, class and phyla. Phyla means phylum. Okay. Generic name and specific epithet. Phyla and kingdom. Phyla means phylum. Okay. Phylum. Yes, what is the answer for this binomial nomenclature? Binomial name means which contain the two components. Yes, comment your answer. Here, binomial nomenclature, it does not contain generic name and phylum. So generic name is present, but phylum name is not there. Okay. So which do not represents the phylum name. So we can eliminate the option A also. See the option B. So binom class and phylum. No, it does not contain the class and phylum. Phylum and kingdom. Yes. Option D is also wrong answer. It contains the genus. Generic name, genus name. First word represents the genus name and second word that represents the species or specific epithet, right? Option C is the correct answer. Nodi, option C ಅಲ್ಲಿ generic name and specific epithet. So correct ಆಗಿರೋ ಆನ್ಸರ್ ಯಾವುದು? ಆಪ್ಷನ್ ಸಿ. ನೋಟ್ ಮಾಡ್ಕೊಳ್ಳಿ. Next question. Binomial nomenclature is given by option A Carolus Linnaeus, Charles Darwin, Henry Cavendish and James Chadwick. Yes, the scientist name. So one of the easy question. ನೀವು ಡೈರೆಕ್ಟ್ ಆಗಿ ಆನ್ಸರ್ ಮಾಡ್ಬೋದು ಅಲ್ವಾ. ಸೊ ಬಯಾಲಜಿಯಲ್ಲಿ ಸ್ಪೆಷಲ್ ಏನು ಅಂದರೆ, ಸೊ ಯು ಹ್ಯಾವ್ ಟು ಸ್ಟಡಿ ಮಾಡಿ ನೀವು ಏನು ಮಾಡಬೇಕು, ಆಪ್ಷನ್ಸನ್ನು ಡೈರೆಕ್ಟಾಗಿ ಟಿಕ್ ಮಾಡ್ಬೋದು. ಬಟ್ ಇನ್ ಅದರ್ ಸಬ್ಜೆಕ್ಟ್ ಯು ಹ್ಯಾವ್ ಟು ಸಾಲ್ವ್ ಅಲ್ವಾ, ಸಾಲ್ವ್ ಮಾಡಿ ಆನ್ಸರನ್ನು ಟಿಕ್ ಮಾಡಬೇಕಾಗತ್ತೆ. ಬಟ್ ಬಯಾಲಜಿಯಲ್ಲಿ ನೀವು ನೀವು ಓದಿರೋದನ್ನು ನೆನ್ಪಿಟ್ಕೊಂಡು ನೀವು ಕರೆಕ್ಟಾಗಿ ಸ್ಟಡಿ ಮಾಡಿದರೆ ನೀವು ಕರೆಕ್ಟಾಗಿರೋ ಆನ್ಸರನ್ನು ಡೈರೆಕ್ಟಾಗಿ ಟಿಕ್ ಮಾಡ್ಬೋದು. ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಯಾವುದು ಕ್ವಶನನ್ನು ಮೆಥಮೆಟಿಕಲಿ ಸಾಲ್ವ್ ಮಾಡುವಂಥ ಒಂದು ಅವಶ್ಯಕತೆ ಇರೋದಿಲ್ಲ ಅಲ್ವಾ. ಸೊ ದ ಕರೆಕ್ಟ್ ಆನ್ಸರ್ binomial nomenclature is given by the Carolus Linnaeus. Charles Darwin, so the scientist who proposed the evolution, right? So Charles Darwin, ಸೊ ಇವಲ್ಯೂಷನ್ಗೆ ರಿಲೇಟೆಡ್ ಇರುವಂಥ ಥೇರೀಸನ್ನು ಕೊಟ್ಟಿರುವಂಥದ್ದು. ಹೆನ್ರಿ ಕ್ಯಾವೆಂಡಿಶ್ ಆ್ಯಂಡ್ ದ ಜೇಮ್ಸ್ ಚಾಡ್ವಿಕ್, ಸೊ ದೇ ಆರ್ ನಾಟ್ ಬಯಾಲಜಿಸ್ಟ್. ಓಕೆ, ಸೊ ಜೇಮ್ಸ್ ಚಾಡ್ವಿಕ್ and the Henry Cavendish, so they are not biologists. So here Carolus Linnaeus is the correct answer. Question note ಮಾಡ್ಕೊಳ್ಳಿ, ಆರ್ ಜಸ್ಟ್ ಯು ಶಾರ್ಟ್ ಆಗಿ ಬೇಕಾದರೂ ನೋಟ್ ಮಾಡ್ಕೊಳ್ಳಿ, ನಿಮಗೆ ನೆಕ್ಸ್ಟ್ ಹೆಲ್ಪ್ ಆಗುತ್ತೆ. ಓಕೆ, ನೆಕ್ಸ್ಟ್ Azardichata indica, so that is the minor valenton belongs to the genus. Here, what is the genus of this plant? Please read the question. Read the question properly and so VAR dot minor valenton. So that is the scientist who discovered this species. So the scientist name, like Mangifera indica, LINN. You'll write like this, no? Mangifera indica, LINN means, so that is the scientist name. So this is also scientist name. So it belongs to the genus. Option A Azardichata, option B indica, option C minor, option D Velaton. What is the answer for this? Correct option. What is the genus of this plant? So the correct option is, please comment the correct option. Yes, the correct option is option A. So this is the type of the what you call indica. So that is the same species of mango. Next question. The scientific name of lion is? What is the scientific name of lion? Panthera leo, Panthera tigris, Panthera lion. So again, the same option is repeated here. Just to consider these three options: Panthera leo, Panthera tigris, and Panthera lion. And one more option I'll give: Panthera pardus. Panthera pardus. What is the correct option? The scientific name of lion is Panthera leo. Panthera tigris means that is tiger. Panthera lion, there is no scientific name like this. And Panthera pardus means that is the cheetah. Leopard, sorry. That is the leopard. Next question. The number of described species of living organisms: 1.25 million species, zero point 0.5 million species, 1.025 million species, and 1.7 million species. So here, how many living organisms are described? Number of described species of living organisms. Now starting ಅಲ್ಲಿ discuss ಮಾಡಿದ್ವಿ ಅಲ್ವಾ? Yes, what is the answer? Yes, please comment your answer in the chat box. Option D. Okay, yes. ಸೊ ಕಮೆಂಟ್ ಮಾಡ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದೀರಾ ಆಪ್ಷನ್ ಡಿ ಅಂತ. ಎಸ್, ಕರೆಕ್ಟ್ ಆಗಿದೆ. 1.7 ಟು 1.8 ಮಿಲಿಯನ್ ಸ್ಪೀಶೀಸ್. 1.7 ಟು 1.8. ಸೊ ಯು ಕ್ಯಾನ್ ಟಿಕ್ ದ ಆಪ್ಷನ್ ಡಿ ಆಸ್ ದ ಕರೆಕ್ಟ್ ಆನ್ಸರ್. ನೆಕ್ಸ್ಟ್, the organization of the biological world begins with cellular level, atomic level, submicroscopic molecular level, and the organismic level. So the organization of the biological world, so that begins with which level? Is it with the cellular level, atomic level, organismic level? Cellular means cell level, atomic level means that is the basic level, cellular level means the basic level. So there is no that is the basic cellular level of the organization. So the organization of the biological world, that begins with option C is the correct answer. That is submicroscopic molecular level. So that is very basic. Submicroscopic, that is basic than the cellular level. Submicroscopic molecular level. Next question. Which of the following book is not written by Carolus Linnaeus? Which of the following books not written by Carolus Linnaeus? You have to write which one is not written by the Carolus Linnaeus, but not written by the Carolus Linnaeus. Yes, Systema Naturae, Historica Naturalis, Species Plantarum, Philosophia Botanica. Yes, here Systema Naturae, that is mentioned in your NCERT, that is written by the Carolus Linnaeus. But here the correct answer is Historica Naturalis. So this book, which is not written by the Carolus Linnaeus, Systema Naturae. Okay, so this book is written by the Carolus Linnaeus and it is mentioned in your NCERT also. NCERT ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಕೂಡ mention ಇದೆ. Species Plantarum and Philosophia Botanica, this is also written by the Carolus Linnaeus. Please note down this one also, these two books name, that is written by the Carolus Linnaeus. Okay. Here, the correct answer, which is the book which is not written by the Carolus Linnaeus, option B, Historia Naturalis. Question number 9. Option C is the correct answer. Submicroscopic molecular level. So option C, that is basic than the cellular level. So this biological organization begins with the submicroscopic molecular level. Option C is the correct answer. Then, who is the father of new systematics? Systematics means that is the process of classification. Aristotle, Linnaeus, then Theophrastus and Julian Huxley. Yes, what is the correct answer? Aristotle, Linnaeus, Theophrastus, Julian Huxley. New systematics. Yes, option. So the father of systematics means the classification that begins with the Carolus Linnaeus. Yes, but the new systematics. Okay, so here that is the option D, Julian Huxley. ಫಾದರ್ ಆಫ್ ದಿ ನ್ಯೂ ಸಿಸ್ಟಮ್ಯಾಟಿಕ್ಸ್. ಇಲ್ಲಿ ನೀವು ಕ್ವಶನ್ ಅನ್ನ ಸರಿಯಾಗಿ ನೋಡ್ಕೊಳ್ಳಿ. ಸಿಸ್ಟಮ್ಯಾಟಿಕ್ಸ್ ಅಂಡ್ ದ ನ್ಯೂ ಸಿಸ್ಟಮ್ಯಾಟಿಕ್. ಓಕೆ, ಸೊ then a taxon can be defined as, what is taxon? Okay, a group of related families, a group of related species, a taxonomic of any ranking, the number and type of organism present on the earth. Okay, a taxon can be defined as, how do you define the taxon? So ಈ taxon ಅನ್ನುವಂಥ ವರ್ಡ್ ಅನ್ನ ಹೇಗೆ ಡಿಫೈನ್ ಮಾಡ್ತೀರಾ? A group of related families? No. A group of related species? No. Group of related species, that is called as genus. Group of related families, so that is called as order, right? Then a taxonomic group of any ranking, the number and type of organisms present on the earth. So option C or D, what is the correct answer? Option C correct answer or option D? Please comment your answer. Option C is the correct answer. A taxonomic group of any ranking. So it may be species, or it may be genus, or it may be family, order, or anything. So that is the taxonomic group of any ranking. It may be the taxonomic group of any rank. Any rank means it may be a species, or it may be a genus, or it may be a family. So option C is the correct answer. Option C. How do you define the taxon? A taxonomic group of any ranking, that is called as the taxon. Next question. Which among the following is not a code for nomenclature for the organisms? Read the question properly. International Code of Botanical Nomenclature, International Code for Bacteriological Nomenclature, International Code for Zoological Nomenclature, International Union of Pure and Applied Chemistry. Yes, that is very easy question. Which of the following that is not involved in the nomenclature of the organisms? Yes, please comment your answer. International Code for Botanical Nomenclature, you know that that is related to the naming of the plants. International Code for Bacteriological Nomenclature, that is for the naming of the bacteria. International Code for Zoological Nomenclature, that is for the naming of animals. And International Union of Pure and Applied Chemistry, that is related to the chemistry, right? So option D is the correct answer. So that is not involved in the, not a code of nomenclature for the organism. It is not involved in the naming of the organisms. Okay, so directly we can write this answer because pure and applied chemistry. So it is not related to the biology. Next question. Which of the following takes into account evolutionary relationships between the organisms? Cladistics, artificial system of classification, natural system of classification, and the systematics. So here, which of the following takes into account of evolutionary relationship between the organisms? Here, artificial system of classification, what it involves, and natural system of classification, what it involves, and the systematics, so what it involves, what are the is it take the account of evolutionary relationship to classify the organisms? Yes, here artificial system of classification, that involves only morphological characters. Okay, so ಅದು ನಿಮಗೆ ನೆಕ್ಸ್ಟ್ ಬಯೋಲಜಿಕಲ್ ಕ್ಲಾಸಿಫಿಕೇಶನ್ ಚಾಪ್ಟರ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಇನ್ ಡೀಟೇಲ್ ಆಗಿ ಬರುತ್ತೆ. ಓಕೆ, ಇನ್ ಡೀಟೇಲ್ ಆಗಿ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಸ್ಟಡಿ ಮಾಡೋಣ. ಆರ್ಟಿಫಿಷಿಯಲ್ ಸಿಸ್ಟಮ್ ಆಫ್ ಕ್ಲಾಸಿಫಿಕೇಶನ್ ಓನ್ಲಿ ದ ಮಾರ್ಫಾಲಜಿಕಲ್ ಕ್ಯಾರೆಕ್ಟರ್ಸ್, and the natural system of classification, that involves, that includes the uh, morphological as well as anatomical and embryology and the phytochemistry. And the systematics, that is the process of the classification, right? But here the correct answer, that is the cladistics, that takes into account evolutionary relationships between the organisms, not only by observing the external features, by considering the evolutionary relationships, how that organism is developed, and based on the ancestors. So that is called as the cladistics. Option A, ಇದನ್ನ in detail ಆಗಿ ನಾವು ಸೆಕೆಂಡ್ ಚಾಪ್ಟರ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಕಲ್ತ್ಕೊಳ್ಳೋಣ. ಓಕೆ, then, which among the following statements are correct? Okay, so read the statements and find out the correct statements. All the biological names have their origin in Latin. The first word in a biological name represents the species and the next represents the genus. Canis lupus familiaris is the binomial nomenclature of a dog. Panthera tigris is the binomial nomenclature of the tiger. Yes, find the correct answer for this question. Here, which among the statements are correct? Option A and C here. Uh, which among the following statements are correct statement? Here, Panthera, see the last statement. Panthera tigris is the binomial nomenclature of tiger. Yes, that is the correct answer. Canis lupus familiaris is the binomial nomenclature of dog. Yes, the binomial nomenclature of dog, that is the Canis lupus familiaris. Then the first word in a biological name represents the species name and the next represents the genus. Yes, this is the wrong one. First word represents the genus and then represents the next word represents the species name. So this one is the wrong statement. All the biological names have their origin in Latin. Yes, so the origin is Latin. The correct, this is also a correct one. So A, C and D is the correct answer, not the B. B is the wrong one. Yes, note down the question. The word taxa means option A phyla, option B genus, option C classification, option D kingdom. Taxa. What is the meaning of taxa? Is it represents the phyla? Phylum? No. Is it represents the genus? No. Here, kingdom? No. It represents the classification. So, taxa means category or classification. Okay. So, taxa or taxonomy, that is the classification or the category. Then which of the following taxa are in their increasing order of their similarities? See the question properly. Which of the following taxa are their increasing order in their similarities? Means they the similarities that is more in the species. They share the more similar characters. But when it move from species to the kingdom, the similarities decreases ಅಲ್ವಾ. ಸೊ ಸ್ಪೀಶೀಸ್ ಇಂದ ಕಿಂಗ್ಡಮ್ಮಿಗೆ ಮೂವ್ ಆದಾಗ ಏನಾಗುತ್ತೆ, ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಸಿಮಿಲಾರಿಟೀಸ್ ಡಿಕ್ರೀಸ್ ಆಗ್ತಾ ಹೋಗುತ್ತೆ. ಸೊ ಹಿಯರ್ ಇನ್ಕ್ರೀಸಿಂಗ್ ಆರ್ಡರ್ ಆಫ್ ದರ್ ಸಿಮಿಲಾರಿಟೀಸ್. ಓಕೆ, ಸೊ ಇನ್ಕ್ರೀಸಿಂಗ್ ಆರ್ಡರ್ ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಏನಿರಬೇಕು, ಕ್ಲಾಸ್ ಇದೆ, ಕ್ಲಾಸ್ ಫೈಲಮ್ ಕಿಂಗ್ಡಮ್. ಸೊ ಕಿಂಗ್ಡಮ್, so that is having the less similar character, so this is the wrong one. Genus, kingdom, phylum, so this is also in a wrong order. Say the kingdom which share the less similar characters, kingdom, then genus and the species, specific epithet. Species are at the last, means which share the maximum number of characters, similar character. Kingdom which share the less number of the similar characters. So less, more. So this is in the form of increasing order of their similarities. So option C is the correct answer. Nodi, option C is the correct answer. So kingdom, genus and the specific epithet. Okay. Mangifera indica and Agariceta indica belongs to the same genus, same species, same phylum, same region. Yes, Mangifera indica, so that belongs to the same genus. No, that is not a Mangifera and this species, that is different, right? And same species, same phylum and the same region. So what is the correct answer? Yes, option B. Yes, option B is the correct answer because they belongs to the same species, that is indica. Okay, so option B is the correct answer. Okay, yes, dear students, I hope ನಿಮಗೆ ಈ ಕ್ಲಾಸ್ ಯೂಸ್ಫುಲ್ ಆಗಿದೆ ಅಂತ ಅನ್ಕೊಳ್ತೇನೆ. ಸೊ ವಿಲ್ ಸ್ಟಾಪ್ ದ ಕ್ಲಾಸ್ ಹಿಯರ್. ನೆಕ್ಸ್ಟ್ ಕ್ಲಾಸಲ್ಲಿ ಇದೇ ಚಾಪ್ಟರ್ಗೆ ರಿಲೇಟೆಡ್ ಇನ್ನೂ ಕೆಲವೊಂದು ಇಂಪಾರ್ಟೆಂಟ್ ಕ್ವಶನ್ಸನ್ನು ನಾವು ಸಾಲ್ವ್ ಮಾಡೋಣ. ಓಕೆ, ಸೊ ಇಫ್ ಯು ಹ್ಯಾವ್ ಎನಿ ಡೌಟ್ಸ್ ಜಸ್ಟ್ ರೈಟ್ ಡೌನ್ ಇನ್ ದ ಚಾಟ್ ಬಾಕ್ಸ್. ಥ್ಯಾಂಕ್ ಯು. ನೆಕ್ಸ್ಟ್ ಕ್ಲಾಸಲ್ಲಿ ನಾವು ಕಂಟಿನ್ಯೂ ಮಾಡೋಣ. ಓಕೆ, ಥ್ಯಾಂಕ್ ಯು.